Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I am Jason Monroe. This is episode 179. I have just recorded a little video to go on Instagram tonight, and it actually sparked some longer form content that I need to now get out in a podcast episode. So I've got a video going out on Instagram today that says, have you ever heard of the false productivity diet? Now, it's not really a diet. I just say that shit to grab attention in the first 3 seconds of a video. I'd much prefer to go into it deeper with you guys. What I mean by that is, so false productivity when it comes to weight loss is when maybe like we're kind of struggling to make progress, struggling to do the things that we know we need to do. And we fight and fight and fight, and we just can't do it, right? We're trying to eat well, we're trying to balance our meals, we're trying to snack less, and it's just not working. And because we get so frustrated by that. Now, this happens a lot with people who are high achievers, or people who are incredibly organized. Like, you might be someone who's super organized. You might be somebody who loves getting organized. You love a fresh new notepad. You love spreadsheets. You love your wall calendar, your family planner. You love your Google Diary or your whatever the Apple version is, and your phone. Everything is color coded and laid out, and you know exactly what's happening and when it's happening. That ain't me. I ain't one of those people. I prefer chaos. Stressful chaos. But if you are one of these people, you have all this stuff going on elsewhere and you get so fucking frustrated because the one thing you just cannot get a handle on is your weight, is your diet, is your eating, and it drives you bananas. You cannot understand, how can I be so bloody organised everywhere else in life? How can I be so good at what I do? How can I be so great at planning? How can I have all this information on this wall planner and know exactly what's happening when? But I just cannot get to grips with why I keep going to get chocolate or crisps at 8 o'clock every night. And so, because of that, you then double down, but you double down on the stuff that doesn't move the needle being your weight, right? The needle on the scales, we'll say. And so this is where the false productivity comes in. You sit down and you write a meal plan, which isn't helping because you're not sticking to the meal plan that you've already got. Or you start, you look for more things to track. Do you know, something happened to me? I'm going to lie down. I'll tell you why I'm lying down. My shoulders and neck are in absolute agony because I am a 40-year-old man who did gymnastics before he was even a teenager. And anytime anybody talks about gymnastics, I always pipe, I used to do gymnastics. And so the cartwheels and the handstands and the headstands and the front flips and the spring and flip flips, they all come out. And a 40-year-old man who has not done them in a long time is not supposed to do that. And it's used a lot of muscles that I don't normally use, and my neck and shoulders and my back are not good. So lying down helps. So we double down on all this other stuff because it feels like progress. It feels like we're doing something. It feels like control. And it's nothing other than false productivity. Right, I'm going to start tracking my water. Awesome. How's that going to help you lose weight? I'm going to start going to bed at 9 o'clock. Cool. Are you eating because you're tired? Because that would be a great solution. Or is it that your eating's just chaotic and it feels like you're out of control? I'm going to plan all my meals. Okay, well, I'm not just going to plan dinners. Now I'm going to plan lunch and breakfast. The way my mind works, like I always go backwards to okay, let's find out what that would be the solution to. What's the problem that action would be the solution to, and do you have that problem? So is your eating out of control because you're not planning those meals? Well, no. Why is your eating out of control? Well, because every time it gets to 8 or 9 o'clock at night and the kids are in bed and I'm sat watching the TV, all I think about is crisps and chocolate. Okay, Is drinking more water going to help? Probably not. Is planning breakfast, lunch and dinner going to solve a 9 o'clock at night problem? Probably not. Yes, there are instances where making changes to those things will help if you are dehydrated all day and it's messing with your energy levels, you're feeling fatigued, you've got brain fog, it's impairing your decision making and cognitive ability, it's creating tiredness that then makes you want to eat sugar, then yes, drinking more water might help. If you are not planning your meals and you're avoiding meals all day and you've adopted a snacky, grazy type approach and your 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock stuff is an extension of that, then yes, planning your meals will be helpful. But if you are someone who is super organised and doesn't have really anything left to do and you still have an unhelpful habit, you need to realise that that's an extremely powerful position to be in, where you know you don't have anything else to do. You don't need to do any of the false productivity stuff. You don't have to add in anything extra to fix it. What you now have is a raw problem in its truest form. You don't have any problem solving to do. You don't have any trial and error to do. Here you are with the thing. You keep going to that cupboard at night and grabbing those things and bringing them back and sitting down in front of the TV with them. And we've already ruled out everything else it could possibly be because you're already doing all that other stuff. So now we have a problem that we can work with. Now we can have something we can pick apart and work on. Put me in your shoes. It is 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. What are you doing? Where are you sitting? Who's around you? What's the scenario? What's the environment? The kids are in bed. I've just put the kids to bed. They're down. The dishes are done. Everything's cleaned up after dinner. I've sat down. I've put the TV on. Okay, and how do you feel? Well, I feel like this is me time. This is the time that's just for me. The only time that I get in an entire day that is just for me. Okay, now what? The TV's not enough. Scrolling your phone isn't enough. You now feel like you need to what do I need to do to maximise this time? I've got 2 hours to myself before I have to go to bed. What am I going to do? And then you turn into a pleasure seeker. You start cramming stuff and maybe I'll have a glass of wine. Maybe I'll have some crisps. Maybe I'll have some chocolate. Maybe I'll have some of the kids' sweets. Maybe I'll go have a slice of that cake. We start to build and amplify the experience because it's just for us. Which is why having, and this is me time, right? It is me time, but it's low value me time. Low value me time is scrolling, social media, playing games on your phone, shit that you already do all day anyway. You just squeeze it into like every spare minute. You use it to procrastinate. You use it as a gap filler. You use it as something to do on your lunch break or your breakfast break or whatever. At night, it doesn't feel special. It feels like you're doing something that's for you, but it's just an extension of something you've been doing all day anyway. And so we look for other stuff to squeeze in. I mean, I get this because I have been there. I'll give you an example. Because I'm myself now and I don't have the kids 50% of the time, I have a lot of time to myself, and that could be potentially a lot of time to be bored. I make sure there is something planned in all the time. I have never been to the cinema as much as I have in the last, what are we? November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months? 6 months? Jesus. November into December, January, February, March. No, 5 months I've been at my mum's. Exactly. Or almost exactly. 4th of November, I think. I moved in. I have been to the cinema so much more. I have been out for so many more walks. I've been up my local hill. I've been all over the place. I've been all down these local different trails that I've never walked down before. I have gone through my wardrobe a few times and cleared a lot of stuff out. I've gone through the stuff in my container a few times and cleared a lot of stuff out. I have watched a lot of movies. I've watched a lot of UFC. I've watched the F1 when it's been back on. So I always have a plan in the diary that is just for me. And it is not nobody is planning fucking scrolling time on their phone. What are you going to do at 9 o'clock tonight? Oh, I was going to scroll TikTok endlessly for 2 hours and just watch video after video. Nobody is planning that into their diary because they know how stupid it is. They know how much of a waste of time it is. But it's one of these things where, what was that thing I used to say about if you do not plan your time. Something like, if you don't plan your time will be planned for you. Meaning, oh no, it was about routines and schedules and things. If you don't put a routine in place, one will be put in place for you. You know, you'll fall into one. Meaning that, like, during school holidays, or when you move house, or whatever kind of transition things going on that disrupts a lot of stuff, if you do not create a routine, one will be created for you. One will accidentally fall into place. You have to scramble to take the time for you before that time's lost and you struggle to regain it back. So today, I'm recording this on a Thursday. I've not actually thought about what I might do tonight. There is a new series of The Boys that I really like that's out. I might start watching that tonight. I'll decide that soon, because today is a long day of work. Something I've learned about myself is that I have to have things to look forward to. Otherwise, I procrastinate and piss about, or spend too much time getting inside my own head. So I have to make sure that I have things to look forward to during the day or at the weekends. And that helps me manage my stress, stay productive, stay focused, be a good dad, be a good coach, be a good nutritionist, all that crap, all that stuff that I'm playing down, but it is massively important. So, the false productivity diet. Do not get lured into thinking that because you're controlling, here's a good example. The amount of times that I have done check-ins, and someone will go through the entire check-in and they'll be like, I'm really disappointed because I've been doing this and I'm not sticking to my meal plan and I'm snacking at night and I'm picking at the kids' leftovers and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it's this endless list of unhelpful stuff. Sorry, I'm just grabbing more wood for the fire. And it's this endless list of unhelpful things that are happening, and you're reading through it thinking, God, there's so much room for improvement here. We could just do a few small things and have a drastic impact. And then I'll get to the end, and one of the questions I ask people at the end of their check-in is, what's one thing you want to improve on for next time, and what are you going to do? So we've spoken about stress eating, not planning meals, staying up too late, scrolling phones to midnight, getting up in the morning shattered. That starts off a day of poor decisions. And it's like, what do you want to improve on for next time? My water intake. How are you going to do that? I'm going to fill up my water bottle. And people often wonder, well, why do people need coaches? Why do people need nutritionists? Why do people need help? That's fucking why. Because people come up with solutions to problems that they don't have. Yes, you probably need to drink more water. Most people are mildly dehydrated in the UK. At the least. But come on, do you think drinking an extra litre of water is going to be the thing that's going to change your life? There is a point that people might get to where they've ruled out everything else and we get to it, right? What's one of the last few things we need to change? Oh, I could probably do with drinking more water. Cool, let's do that. We might get there one day, once. I talk about this a lot where we've got all these fannies on social media going around supermarkets talking about. I had a rant about this in a couple of episodes ago. It's still fresh because I feel like I want to slip back into it again. But remember, like, the guys walking around the supermarkets picking up bread. Bread should only have 3 ingredients. You might get to a point where that's the only problem you've got. You get everything else so nailed down that you can then start to be picky and choosy about certain products in the supermarket or certain foods or certain ingredients. If that's how far and petty you want to be around your eating habits and you have the time for that, then go for it. Fill your boots. Dive in. But honestly, somebody commented on one of my posts the other day about boycott Cadbury's. Like, imagine one of the only problems you have in life is getting to pick and choose where your chocolate comes from. This is like another one of these false productivity things. Oh, I've taken all the processed foods out of my diet. I'm getting rid of emulsifiers. I'm no longer eating artificial sugar. And it's like, yeah, but you're still 15 stone. And treating your body like crap. Your mental health's in tatters because the way that you're using food. You're miserable. You've got no confidence. You keep hiding yourself from photos and deleting pictures of you and your kids at the end of the day. But yep. Let's be super picky about where our chocolate comes from. And it's these trying to exert control, or trying to, that's all it is. It's a big distraction. I'm going to get all up in arms about palm oil. I'm going to get really angry about artificial sweeteners. And it's just false productivity, I suppose. It makes you feel like you're doing something, you're making a stand. You're heavily overweight, you're super unhealthy, you don't eat any fruits and vegetables, you feel like shit on a daily basis, but it doesn't stop you from using food the way you are, because you don't understand your relationship with food. You can't understand why you want to be fit and light and mobile and healthy and all these things, but you simply don't eat like that person. And this is where we start to adopt all these other things. Well, I'm just going to get really angry about this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to start tracking water. Don't get lured in to the false positivity. Was it again? Oh yeah, false productivity. Don't get lured into the false productivity stuff. It's just one extra thing to keep you stuck. It's not helping. As ever, like, it never changes. You know, the overriding factor of everything is that you will still at some point have to come and do the hard work anyway. Because no amount of being 100% in areas that don't matter is going to get your weight and your health and your fitness and all those things to a place that you want it to be. I wrote in a post the caption to go with that video there. It's like cleaning the windows while the house is on fire. You've got much bigger problems going on than all the other stuff that you think you want to focus on. And it doesn't matter how much time and effort and money and energy you pour into those other things. The things that matter, the problems that matter that have never been addressed, they're not just waiting for you, they're stopping all that other stuff from having an impact. Oh, right, that's out of my system. Until next time.